Oh, not at all. Not at all.
Yeah.
It's interesting when he mentioned about the roundtable thing, and just to lift the curtain a little bit, what happens at a Michigan State press conference, and I don't know if this happens with others, but with Izzo, it definitely went this way. He starts a press conference out behind a podium, and they have cameras and microphones in place for the TV and radio folks there. When that's done, it lasts about 15 minutes. When that's done, that's what's awesome about Izzo. And again, I don't know, I haven't been to other press conferences to know if this is how other coaches work. But when Tom's done with the TVs, he sits down at a table, which is actually a round table. It's a giant round table. You can fit probably 15 people around it. And the beat writers are there, and there's still some radio people there and some magazine people there, or online magazine people there. And he'll talk. I've spent upwards of an hour after that with him, talking with him and other reporters. It's actually awesome. It's not off the record stuff. It's just stuff that's not going to be on a camera. So there's still, I mean, he's saying stuff, and there'll be some things he'll tell you off the record, and he'll let you know this is off the record. But that's what's great about Izzo.
It's a less formal setting.
Yeah, it's a much more informal setting, and the access that Tom Izzo gives the media, from what I understand, is second to none. It's great.
There are other coaches that do it. I don't know if they do it as frequently as Tom Izzo does. But 248-539-9797 from Mark, or let's go to Mark, excuse me, who's on a cell, 97 on the ticket. Hello, Mark.
Good morning, gentlemen.
What's up?
Yeah, if you're looking for somebody to blame, I would take it back to LBJ and the Great Society. But my point to the screener was, this is Penn State, and they're still under the shadow of that Sandusky scandal.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe they're just a little bit hypersensitive, concerned with public opinion. And maybe they did go overboard a little bit, but it's just a different thought on that. Maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong, I don't know, but it's just something that popped into my mind.
Well, it absolutely popped into my mind. And, when I heard he got suspended for it, and I was surprised. I saw the shove when it happened, and it happened, and it happened like a missed free throw. Like, you don't think about it again. And then I hear later they're showing the replay, and it's getting some public scrutiny. And I'm like, oh, no. Because I like Pat Chambers, and I didn't think it was too far. But it's, what Izzo said, if somebody – I've talked to people who've coached my kids, and I've asked them to coach them hard. I think that they should be coached hard. I think that's what a coach's job is.
Well, it looked to me like a couple of guys, busting each other's balls, and, you just – shut up, and you kind of give them a little shove to push them away.
Obviously, it wasn't done. It wasn't done in jest, but your description of sort of how that push looked is accurate.
I don't think it was like a breaking balls type thing. I think it was.
He wasn't breaking balls.
No, it was a get your attention, get your head in the game type thing. That's what I thought it was, or something like where the coach is telling the player, "You're stepping across the line, and I'm giving you this shove as a shock to your system. Snap out of it."
248-539-9797. Joe in Milford is next. Hi, Joe.
Hey, how you guys doing today?
Okay.
Hey, good. Doug, to your point, I completely agree. First off, no big deal in my eyes, coach, with this player.
Mm-hmm.
But to your point as to why Penn State reacted so fast, I agree with. But that being said, why would Izzo say anything about it with what's going on at Michigan State? It's still very sensitive up there. So I love what Izzo made the comment. But he kind of puts himself out there for a lot of criticism for all the softies in this world. It's like, oh, he's endorsing this behavior.
I think he needs to be careful too. I thought he was. I was like, because like the era of the Sandusky thing hangs over Penn State, and the era of the Nassar things hangs over Michigan State.
Yeah, but that has nothing to do with Izzo or D'Antonio. But you brought up Izzo. The Nassar thing has nothing to do with Tom.
Of course, and Sandusky has nothing to do with Pat Chambers.
Same with the basketball coach. He had nothing to do with Sandusky either. It's just they have to deal with that cloud over them no matter what they do because it's their university. It's part of their company or corporation. But one point I'd love to make is, I don't know if anybody's ever watched Big Time Wrestling. Before a kid gets on the mat, the coach is boxing his ears to get his attention quite hard, just to get him to wake up before he stands on the mat. Nobody has a problem with that, and as they should not.
Well, if somebody's boxing a kid's ears?
You've ever watched them wrestle. You snap a kid, they'll slap him across the face or bang them just to get their attention real just before they step on the mat. Just watch the matches, you'll see it. Not every kid.
I'll have to look for that. But that I do wonder, does that sport need to adjust? Probably not, because that's considered part of the sport. But I shouldn't speak on wrestling because I'm not familiar with the culture.
And John L. Smith used to smack players in the face all the time.
Yeah, that's probably that might not have been.
That's probably why Lamar Woodley didn't go to Michigan State.
248-539-9797. Joe on a cell is next. Hi, Joe.
Hey, what's up, Crash? What's up, Gator? What's the good word?
Hey.
Not a lot.
Yeah, so my problem is with the generational kind of bashing, so to speak. I don't want this. I represent the young vanguard of your listeners, and I don't want this to get to a place where the dialogue gets lost because we're bashing each other's generation.
Yes.
Now, my point is, and you alluded to it just before the break. Those who criticize my generation fail to remember who raised it. Who raised it? I'm not soft because I stand up for stuff like social justice. And let's take it back. Let's say this kid goes to Latrell Sprewell and puts his hands around this coach's neck. Then what are we talking about? Is he harder for that? This is all about seeking approval from other people that, quite frankly, don't understand our generation, and they want to just criticize what they don't understand. And that's not what we're going to do here. And that's my point.
Well, I think it's I've had some talk with my friends about, the job that my particular generation is doing raising our kids, and I don't think we're really good at it.
Well, I mean, I was taught, for me, I was taught to respect my elders. I come from that culture. But if we're outspoken about things that we are passionate about, that we are trying to change, they call us, shut up, you're soft, you're a snowflake, or you're a social justice warrior. Well, and then if we don't speak out, then we just get labeled as soft too. So you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. I love the show. Thanks, guys.
Thank you for the
Thanks,
phone
Joe. I would say this in defense of your take on parents and being very hard, saying you're not doing a very good job of parenting.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's fair. I think it's really hard to do today, and I don't want to compare eras, but we have to in this case. It seems like you have to navigate so many more pitfalls today than you did, say, 20, 30 years ago.
It's probably true, and I don't have a point of reference to be able to say that, because I wasn't an adult in the 70s and 80s and 90s to watch how adults were bringing their kids up from the inside, like from an adult perspective. Yeah. So I can't. My first thought, if I think there's something wrong with the younger generation, my first thought is to blame those who were responsible for bringing it up, and that falls on me.
I mean, I understand that, but at the same time, I'm just trying to help defend you guys because look, when we were growing up, there wasn't the internet. There wasn't Instagram. If you were interested in a girl, you either talked to her in the hall at class, you found a way to get her phone number, you'd call her on the phone, or you'd drop a note in her locker or something, or pass a note through a friend of yours, an intermediary, and go out that way. Now there's texting, there's Twitter, there's Snapchat, there's Instagram, there's Facebook.
Sucks.
There's a million things.
My advice to parents, if your kids, when they get their phones and they want Snapchat, the answer is no. I hate.
So there's a million ways to get rejected or accepted. There's a million ways for other people to jump in on what your own little conversations, because they get shared when, before you're just picking up a phone and talking to somebody. It's just you and somebody else on a phone. I think it's a lot tougher today, and that's just from the social media aspect, let alone that the drug aspect of what's out there now compared to what there was when we were kids. Completely different.
Scott writes in, yep, we all want a better life for our kids, but a lot of people take it too far by removing obstacles for them. Better is not the same as easier. I'm a father to a 7- and 4-year-old. I put any participation trophy in the recycle bin. You earn a trophy or you don't. Second place is the first loser. I went to high school in the 70s. Well, see,
second place is not a participation trophy. Being the runner-up to a championship. Is there shame in that?
Well, if there's two teams and one team wins and gets trophies, the other team loses and gets trophies, and that's it, that's a little different. If there's 40 teams and you finish second, you earn something. I went to high school in the 70s. After basketball practice, our coach would have us get in a line and either pat us on the shoulder or knee us in the package. It didn't bother any of us. We took it like men. Today's kids are so pathetic.
Dude, that's extreme, man.
That is extreme.
What?
Dude, knee him in the package. You either took it or you didn't.
He'd pat him on the back or knee him in the junk.
I'll take the pat on the back.
It wasn't up to you.
So you didn't know what you were going to get?
No.
Line up, boys.
Defend myself.
Here we go.
Stay the hell away from there.